Alright, here we go. So we're going to start off first just making sure we're clear about the algorithm definition. It is a set of sequential instructions or steps. Now with that in mind, let's talk about the 5 characteristics of quality or well-structured algorithms. First characteristic is that they are finite. That means they do not keep going on infinitely. They end up stopping at some point. Alright, so that's the key piece. They are finite, they stop. Second characteristic, definiteness or concise. Each of the steps that is part of the algorithm is not confusing. It can't be interpreted in multiple ways. Whatever you state is it. Right? There's no multiple interpretations. So it's very clear. Third, there are 0 or more inputs for the algorithm. So if in this case the magic wand represents the algorithm and the computer is represented by this rectangle, it's possible that the algorithm has no inputs and it can still do its job. Or it's possible that it has it's possible that it has more than one input and the algorithm will do its job. Alright, so it just depends on the algorithm. Key piece here though is the inputs can be 0 inputs or it could be more than 0 inputs. Fourth characteristic, the output of an algorithm there has to be at least one output, or there could be more outputs that are related to the input. So in this example, let's assume we have an algorithm that generates a random number. We don't need to provide any input, so this is just connected back to the previous characteristic. We don't need an input, and yet the algorithm can still produce an output. It can still produce a random number if that's what this little magic wand is responsible for. If that algorithm is responsible for making a random number, you don't need to give it anything. It will automatically create those random numbers for you. So here, maybe the first time it produced a 45, then a 2, then a 900. The other case, right? Let's say you do have some inputs, and let's say my input is horror. Well, the output could be the movies that it recommends: Exorcist, Scary Dreams. So in this case, the algorithm has it has outputs that are related to the input. All right. Okay, and then the fifth and final characteristic is that the algorithms need to be effective, meaning they need to achieve the goal that you set out. What was the objective? What were you trying to accomplish? Make sure that your goal is obtained. So in this case, if the objective was to scratch a back, well, I guess this algorithm figures that out somehow and accomplishes that goal.